So, shadow work. Shadow work is a little bit of a buzzword in the manifestation community, and I don't think everybody necessarily needs to do shadow work, but if you are really struggling to manifest, if you are hitting the same walls over and over again, you're falling into the same patterns over and over again, and you just can't seem to understand why, shadow work is something that I really recommend you do. And I think there is this kind of reputation with shadow work that it takes a really long time, or that it's really difficult, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, or at least my version of shadow work isn't. And I haven't really spoken about it on my channel before, but I've been doing a bit more shadow work recently with the aim of completely clearing all of my money blocks, and boy has it worked. So what is shadow work? Basically, at its very core, shadow work is acknowledging, bringing to light / bringing to the surface the parts of you that you tend to hide, feel ashamed of, tend to ignore for whatever reason. Maybe because it's painful for you to think about yourself that way. Maybe it's a part of yourself that you don't like. Maybe, and this was the case for me, it's just so deeply rooted in your subconscious that it's become so recessed in your memory that it's hard to access consciously. And there are many different ways that you can approach shadow work. Meditation is one of them. But personally, the way I approach shadow work, I don't do it through meditation. I do it in a slightly different way. Actually doing this and sitting down and facing these parts of myself that have taken on limiting beliefs for the sake of survival, and allowing myself to release that in a compassionate way has transformed my manifestation ability. Because your shadow self and what your subconscious beliefs are inextricably linked to your nervous system. I've talked about this in other videos. If you have deeply rooted subconscious beliefs that something is unsafe or uncomfortable or it leads to danger, then your nervous system is going to do everything it can to keep that thing away from you, even if that thing is something that you really want or really need, like money, for example. I thought that I had worked through a lot of my subconscious beliefs through affirmations and journaling and all of that, but I found myself in the same kind of spiral where I would feel okay and I would feel good for a while. Something would happen, or I'd get triggered, or I'd see somebody who had a lot of money or had the thing that I want, and I would get extremely triggered by it. And it would make me feel so jealous and envious and resentful and angry. It would really upset me. At first, I tried to do what everyone tells you to do, by ignoring it, affirming over it, or just pretending I don't feel that way. The thing about subconscious beliefs is they're not going to just go away by you telling them to. And your feelings and your emotions that you feel when you see and experience certain things, those feelings are a message. They are telling you where your blocks still exist. I had subconscious beliefs that to have a lot of money, you have to be born into it. If you're not, then tough luck. That type of money, that type of life is just not for people like you. That's the kind of beliefs I was working with. Here's what I did to really properly clear these subconscious beliefs and really face this from a shadow work perspective. All you really need is yourself and a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to just sit in a quiet space and you're going to take about 10 deep breaths, as slow as you possibly can, holding at the top. You want to get relaxed and you want to get even slightly sleepy, to the point where you could fall asleep if you wanted to. When you're in this state, I want you to imagine sitting down somewhere that you feel safe. It doesn't matter where this place is. It could be whatever your brain gives you, just somewhere that feels safe to you. For me, I would imagine sitting on a bench next to like a cliffside and I was watching the ocean. But for you, it could be anything. It could be a beach, it could be a childhood home, it could be a place that you used to visit a lot, anything, it does not matter. When you're sitting there and you're imagining yourself in this space, you are going to look to your left and see the embodiment of whatever it is that you want. So let's use the example of money. Money can be represented in whatever way you want it to. For me, it would give me a stack of notes all piled up, but for you it could be in a physical human form, it could be a symbol, it could be a ball of energy, whatever you want. You're gonna ask this embodiment of your desire, what is blocking me? What is stopping you from coming into my life? What can I do better in order for you to come to me? Just go with whatever comes up. The first thing that it says, go with that. And you can ask follow-up questions. You can say, okay, how do I do that? How do you want me to go about that? Is there anything else that you require of me? Ask whatever questions you need in that moment. So now you have the problem. From this little short visualization, you have gotten your answer as to what is blocking you. From that, either you will have been told, okay, you have this belief, you have that belief, you keep doing this, or you keep thinking this way. It may have told you outright, you have this limiting belief. If not, from what it said, you can kind of infer the limiting beliefs that are coming from that. I did this for money, and money told me that I had a subconscious belief that I could only achieve a certain level of wealth. Because of my background, because of where I came from, I had a kind of ceiling of how much I could receive, and I needed to expand my capacity to receive. It actually showed it to me as kind of like a dome on top of my head that was made of glass. And you may get something similar, you may get a kind of representation of the problem or the issue. From this, I could infer, okay, then I have subconscious beliefs that people like me can only receive X amount of money. Having money is not for people like me. Things like that. Now we've identified the subconscious belief or the problem that is preventing your manifestation. Once again, you can do this for anything. I'm using the example of money, but you can do this for love, you can do this for career, you can do this for family, whatever. So the next part, you're gonna stay in a relaxed state. You don't have to meditate or anything, but just stay relaxed. You're gonna ask yourself, what age did I start believing this? What age did this belief become true for me? Your mind may throw out a certain age. You may even see yourself at that age. So for me, I saw my inner child. I saw myself at around 4 years old. That's what my subconscious gave me, so that's what I went with. For you, it could be different. It could be 10-year-old you, it could be teenager you, it could be adult you. Just find the version of you that created this belief, because that's the version of you that you are going to have a conversation with. I want you to imagine that version of you right in front of you, and I want you to hold their hands, and I want you to just acknowledge them. Say, you know, I see you. I understand why you think this way. It is completely understandable. We did not have a fair start in life. We experienced hurt. We experienced trauma. It's okay. I forgive you. It is not your fault. And just give that version of you the validation that they need, that there's nothing wrong with them. They didn't do anything wrong. That's really important. You want to show this part of you acceptance and love unconditionally. At this point, you can kind of start to ramble about how you feel and acknowledge the thoughts and feelings that come along with this. For example, I know that we think that money is hard to receive, it's only for certain people, that you need to be born into wealth, and we feel jealous and we feel resentful, and we want this so bad, but we feel like we can't want things because it always gets shut down. Just talk all your feelings to this person and just acknowledge this version of you for how they feel and the thoughts that they thought because of that. And then, and this is the integration part of shadow work, you want to explain to this version of you in a way that they would understand things don't have to be that way anymore. We can change things. We have the power to change our thoughts. We have the power to change our life now. We are not helpless. We can have those things. It is possible for us, you know? If this version of you is a child, so like I said, mine was 4-year-old me, I would talk to this part of me like I was talking to a child. I talked to little me, little Lucy, as if I had a 4-year-old in front of me, and I was saying, You know, it's okay, but we can think differently now. We can take it at your own pace. We can do this so that you feel safe, as you would for somebody who is feeling emotionally tender. Be sensitive about this. Talk to yourself as if you do have somebody who's traumatized in front of you. Have compassion and just let them know that we can let this go now. We don't have to hold on to this belief anymore. And listen, throughout this whole process, you will probably cry. I cried like a little baby doing this, okay? But that's good. That shows that what you're saying is hitting home. It's true for you. So let yourself cry. It's a fantastic release, crying. Just let yourself cry. Let yourself feel everything. And cry as long as you need to. Don't try to force yourself to be over it faster. And once you're done talking to this version of you, you're going to give them a plan of how you're going to go forward. For me, one of the things that came up when I spoke to the embodiment of money was that I needed to manifest in steps. I needed to start smaller and work my way up in order to build up my belief. So I told little Lucy, I said, we're going to go slow. We're going to take our time, okay? We're still going to do all the things that we've been doing with our money. We're going to continue to be smart with money, but we're going to take our time. We're not going to rush you. So for you, if you are manifesting a partner, the embodiment of love told you that you have a belief that all men are trash, and so you push away good guys. You could say something like, I understand that you've been hurt, that you think all men are the same, that you're always going to be hurt in love, but this belief is holding us back from potentially an amazing relationship. So we don't have to think that way anymore. Going forward, what we're going to do is we're going to try and put ourselves out there on dates. And if somebody is pleasant and nice, we're not going to shut that down. We're going to see how it goes. Just very gently kind of push a little bit more. Not to the point of discomfort or dysregulation, just slightly outside of your comfort zone to challenge that belief that was brought up. You may also get a visual representation of your belief. For me, with that cap or that ceiling, I saw it as a glass dome that was over my head. And with little Lucy, I visualized taking this dome off and smashing it into a million pieces on the floor. You can also do something like that. Visual representation of you shattering this belief, because that alone could be very powerful to your mind, especially if you physically do some sort of action. It makes your mind open up to it a bit more. This is kind of how I go about shadow work. It's a combination of things I've heard from various different people, but I found this way to be very effective. It's really changed my magnetism, my ability to manifest. It's really helped my nervous system as well. Now, when I look at displays of wealth or I see other people with wealth, I don't get that same envy or resentment come up. I don't get triggered like I used to. I feel a lot more calm when it comes to money, which is a good sign. If you notice that your triggers have reduced a lot or even completely disappeared, you are on the right track. If you want to do this multiple times, if you want to have kind of check-ins with that version of you that you visualized, after a few months of doing this, you can check in with them again and say, you know, how do you feel? Are you okay? We're doing well. We don't have to think this way anymore. Just kind of reminding them it's true. We don't have to think this way. If you have any questions about this, by the way, leave them in the comments below. I really think this is the key that a lot of people are missing. They're trying to overwrite their subconscious beliefs with affirmations that just don't touch the sides, because your subconscious beliefs are so deeply rooted, especially if they're from trauma. Your brain just instantly rejects it. Not only is this more compassionate, it's kind of the opposite of this repression culture that is so encouraged in this community. So I hope this video made sense. If you would like help with this, I do offer one-to-one sessions that go into exactly this process. Having another person there who can bounce ideas back off you, identify the beliefs that maybe you can't see, and I can also help guide you through this visualization as well. And you don't have to, this is completely optional, but I will leave the link in the description below if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye.